Alright, so as to promise, here's the second video in our background guide series. In this one we'll be focusing on the mechanisms, so like actually how to physically format it, and we'll go through setting up my background guide as an example. But to start, I just want to talk through a few things. So first of all, you might be asking, why do we use a template and why are we so strict about using the template? Well, it's really important that our conference is very cohesive, like from committee to committee. When I looked at the survey responses, it indicated that from one committee people, when I say the survey responses, the PantherMUNC 1 feedback survey, um, some delegates from one committee had a worse experience than delegates from another committee. And we want to minimize that as much as possible. We want to make sure everybody has the same experience, the same good experience. And the background guide is part of that, having a cohesive background guide that's easy to understand and looks like it came from the same organization. And that really plays into the professionality too. We are a professional conference, or at least want to be. And so it's important that our background guides look nicely. Good conferences have good background guides. That's sort of what you expect. We also want to define a standard of quality, what it means to be a good conference. What does that mean? Well, it means to have a background guide that's of course rich in content, but also is properly formatted, looks nice. And so I cut out this section from the quality control rubric, and I'll read it. Format is defined as adherence to the official PantherMUNC template, correct use of Chicago citation format, proper inclusion of required sections, and overall visual consistency within the template. And we'll touch on most of those today, going through how to do that in Google Docs. And you might be asking, again, why Google Docs and not like Microsoft Word? And that's ultimately because Google Docs, it's very easy to share documents on Google Docs. So like if you are working with your co-chair, or if you're asking for help from a secretariat member, it's very easy to just share, upload it to Google Classroom. All that stuff's very easy with a Google Doc. Google Docs is also helpful because of version history. Perhaps we suspect your paper of being written with AI or being plagiarized. The version history makes it very clear. AI detectors are very unreliable, so it's just being able to look at, the history of the document is crucial from a conference management perspective. Also, Google Docs are very easy to export. In Word, I've used Word, and it's a pain to figure out how to export your file into the right format because there's like so many different types. In Google Docs, it's very easy, and we'll talk about that. And then Google Docs is also very familiar. We've all used Google Docs in school, maybe for other purposes. It's a software that we're all very familiar with. Don't have to do a lot of learning. But in this template, it's very important that we do it all the right way so then it looks correct. Because Google Docs, you might be able to get it to look the same, but if you don't do it in the right way, it creates a lot of pain, and when you do that exporting and stuff, it can get messed up. And so I'd like to get started looking at the document now that we've sort of gone through this preface. So we start, of course, by going to the Google Classroom, and you'll notice I've moved assignments out of the stream. That way it's just messages. It's discluttered because the assignments were sort of getting in the way of the messages. So we go to classwork, and we scroll down to templates, and we see our GA background guide template. Choose your room. We're going to click that open, and we're going to hit File, and then make a copy. And we're going to name it the right way. So we're going to get rid of this. My committee is Ecofin. Well, now that I think about it, it's probably best, in fact, I'll do GA2, because you should use your 3-letter committee abbreviation that's in your I'll pull up this list because I'll need it in a second, but in the final committee list, each committee has a 3-letter abbreviation. Use that abbreviation. So mine is GA2, so I'm going to put GA2 and then dash and then PantherMUNC 2 background guide. make a copy. And close out of the template. And so the first step is to fill in your name and then your committee name. So mine is the UN Economic and Financial Committee. And so that's just filled in, and then on the next page you'll see you have to get up here. You might see I'm trying to click and I'm not able to edit this text. I have to double click, so just click it once and again. Double click. You can get up here into the header, and you'll do UN Economic and Financial Committee. Don't hit enter because that just makes a new line. And then if you try to press down here, you might accidentally run into the watermark. Well, that's because they're technically stored in the header. So in order to get out of that, just click back up here and then click on any text that's in the thing in the document, except for don't click on the image. And this is the table of contents. It's automatically formatted, but it won't update in real time. So every time you want to update it, you have to click the refresh button. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But so we get into it. First is the letter from the chair. So it's customary for conferences to have a letter from the chair being like, oh, I'm so excited to do this room, so excited to do this topic. If you could write something about 1 page in length, we don't want it to be much longer, that demonstrates that. You could look at GatorMUNs or SharkMUNs or whatever to see good letters from the chair. And then you just sign your name at the bottom. And you remove like any non-applicable parentheses. And I'll write that later, but you get the point. And then these are rules of procedure. And you don't need to mess with these. These are all written. You don't need to worry about them. They are the ones that we went over in the chairing workshop, so feel free to read them if you'd like for reference, but you don't need them. And you'll notice by the time we get to here, this is our first page of content. We're already 7 pages in. So when I say pages of content, I mean past all this preface, all this, rules of procedure and stuff. All right, so the first thing to put in is your topic. To get that from the final committee list, it'll just be right here where it says topic. I'll just highlight it and grab it and put it in. When I'm pasting, and when you're pasting in the template, always do Control-Shift-V, so hold all 3, and not just Control-V. That's way, I'll show you, if I just did Control-V, the text would be too small and it would be weirdly indented. Basically, Control-V uses the formatting of this source, so it looks at the formatting here and applies it here. Control-Shift-V uses this document's formatting, which we're using. You can keep the period at the end, use the period at the end because we're making a statement. And then we just get right into it. So you'll see there's headings, and one thing that you'll notice is each one has a different text style. So this text style is heading 1. This one's also heading 1. This one's heading 1. You might be like, oh, why isn't this one heading 2? Because it's the second heading. This is heading 2. So whenever you're going in like a subheading, then you go down to heading 2 and then heading 3. And then I'm pretty sure Google Docs lets you go more if you go into settings, but you shouldn't need more than 3. Then it's just get messy, make a subheading, break it up. And you'll notice the subheading is a little smaller. When you're applying a heading, make sure that you get, so I'm making a new line, and then you might see there's the indent from the start of each paragraph. I'm going to hit backspace to get back to the front, and then I'm going to go to normal text, heading 1, and I'm just going to click it. I don't hit update heading 1 to match. I'll show you what happens if I do that. If I did that, it would all be broken. All the heading 1s would look very strange. This is a heading 1. So we don't want to do that because remember, what it means by heading 1 is it means that all of these are set to the same text style. And when I change it, then all the other text styles change as a result. So never change the text style. Just hit apply or just click it here. So I'm going to apply heading 1. Oh, I've already applied it. And then I just type in my heading. So heading. This is strange. And then you have to underline it. Google Docs doesn't do it on its own, so you just have to underline it yourself. Heading 2, it will be underlined. So if I have a subheading here, hit backspace. Remember to get back to the front. And hit heading 2, and it does apply. This is easy. And make sure that there's always a space after each paragraph. So that's part of our style guide, is that after each paragraph is a space. And if we go into the next thing. But if we have a heading or a subheading, you don't take a space. Like you don't go like this. You just do this. And then notice, look at the fonts. The font is all Georgia, font size 11. This is the normal text style. So whenever you're just typing something normally, it should be in normal text, font Georgia, font size 11. That's the font that PantherMUNC uses in most of its documents. So it's just important to be cohesive with that. And then I want to go back to the table of contents. So I made some changes. I added some heading. You might see, so now it goes introduction, heading, subheading, heading, subheading in all caps. But if I go up to table of contents, it won't be changed. It'll look weird. So I have to hit the refresh button. And Google Docs is also strange. It wants it to be in font size Arial. So whenever, you don't have to do it in between, but at the end, before you submit it for quality control, you should highlight it all and then press Georgia and then bold and then unbold. And there you go. And I forgot, you also then have to change it to font size 14. So we're going to highlight this all and we're going to 14. There we go. And the indenting is fine. That looks good. And it has the page number and it links to it. So that's nice. Next, I already talked about the spacing. Sorry, I'm just going through my list here. A quoted block. So there's one here. Let's say I'm quoting something and it's like a big block of text. I don't want to put it all just in line. I can put like individual quotes in line. Sure, that makes sense. But if I'm doing a big quoted block, I don't remember the exact rule. I think it's if it's like 3 lines or more. What I do is I have the quoted block. I hit enter to make a new line with an extra space. I'm going to backspace it out. Then I'm going to highlight the whole block and I'm going to hit the tab button. Then I'm going to hit it one more time. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to get rid of this indent. And then I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to move it back to 0.25. And there you go. So I'll do that again. I have the font size here. Enter, highlight, tab, backspace, highlight, drag up here, 0.25, sorry. And it should be in line with the start of each new paragraph. And there you go. One thing that's big, citation. So let's say I'm saying something here and I need to cite it. What I do, because we cite our sources in PantherMUNC and our background guides. So we hit it'll be different if you're on a Mac or on a Windows laptop. I'm on a Mac, so I press Command Option F. On a Windows computer, that'll be Command Shift or Control Alt F. And you can see it's hard because I'm so zoomed out, but it creates a little number. And that number goes to the bottom, and then that's where I put my source. And I'm citing my sources in the Chicago format. So let's say I'm citing this document. This is for my committee. This is a verified carbon standard methodology. So maybe, I really like, this quote right here, the description of this statistic. And so I'm going to let's say, okay, I talk about it here, and then I press Command or Control Alt F, creates the number. This is where I just talked about it, pretend. And then I'm going to cite it. And so because it's you can look up Chicago's technical report citation format, and you're going to look to where it says footnote/endnote. Because in the Chicago style, we have our footnotes. So those are the things at the bottom of the page with the line. That's the citation. And then at the end, you're going to put in on this where it says bibliography, you're going to put in your bibliography citation. That's the full citation versus just the abridged citation that's in the footnote. So I'll go through and I'll show you how to cite something and how to cite a technical report in Chicago style. So I'm going to look here. All right, so this is on page 43. So it goes author's last name, first name, title of the report, place of publication in parentheses, publisher, year, page number. Well, the author is Vera. I know that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to type in, let me look if it's, okay. So it's Vera, comma, and then in italics, what is the title? I'm gonna scroll up to see the title. Methodology for electric vehicle charging systems. So I'm gonna paste that in. Control-Shift-V, remember. Sometimes the spacing can be strange, so I'll just fix that out. On italics. And then in parentheses, I'm going to type the published year, the publication year, September 2018. And I actually don't need the comma here. 2018. And then, yeah, and then I want the page number. So the page number, I was on page 43, I remember. So then 43. And then do I end it with a period? I do. Okay. All right. And there's my citation. And as you can see, it looks very official. And as I keep going, let's say, oh, I'm going to cite this. Every quoted block should be cited, obviously. So at the end here, I'm going to hit Command Alt F, and I'll cite where I got it from. And there we go. And that's what I need. And let's say perhaps I had a citation here. I was citing this source, and then down here, I'm going to cite the same exact source. So I have number 2. I don't have to type all this again. If I'm citing the same exact source, I can type ebed. It's a Latin phrase. I don't remember exactly what it stands for, but it just means the source above it. And you can only do it if it's the same source from above. So if I had, you know, something here, that's not what I need. So maybe I had this here. I can't do ebed if I'm citing this. I have to then, I do the abridged version. You can look up Chicago, the abridged version. I'm pretty sure it's just the publisher, the title, and the page number. I don't think you have to do the year or it's just author's name, title, not necessarily like the stuff that was in here, if you remember. And so that's really the Chicago style. And then you look up the bibliography version to get the version at the end. You can get rid of the use. I mean, you can use that as a reminder to remind yourself to use Chicago. So remember, look up bibliography to get here, to get citations that go here, and then look up footnote to get citations that go here. One thing to note is that this text you've probably noticed is in columns. This is done in, I believe it's format and then columns. So don't mess with this because the way so then this is not columned and this is columned took me a lot of time to do, and I don't want to mess that up. So please don't mess that up. And then I want to talk about images. So let's say, okay, let's say I'm really loving this image right here. So I'm going to take a screenshot. Well, first I should clear to make sure that I have the rights, but, and then I'm going to drag it in. You might be like, oh no, it's covering my text. We use wrap text. So I'm going to drag it up to where I want it. Maybe I'll scale it down. And as you can see, it fits really nicely in. The text is going around it. It looks really clean. Do I like 1/16 margin? Actually, no, because the vertical margin doesn't change. Okay, so keep it 1/8 margin. This looks nice. This looks clean. And then if I keep typing, the text would dynamically move. So do that. Don't do this and then move it to where you need it to be, and then hit enter, and then tab, and then enter and back. Don't do that. Even though it might work technically, if then I keep typing, then it's just gonna keep getting worse. So don't do that. Just press the wrap text button. Wrap text. I'm gonna move it where you want it. Okay, I'm checking to see if there's other things I wanted to talk about. I think that's all. Specifically from hands-on how to do it. So head back here. So the final reminders are to make sure that the formatting is always aligned with the template. If you're ever unsure, to just reach out to you should just reach out to us or rewatch this video as a reference. And then also I'll work on compiling a formatting guide in PDF form, so you can just I know what I want to do. Okay, wait. So I'm gonna go up here. Let's say I'm all done writing my background guide. I'm so excited, it's all done. I'm gonna hit File, and then I'm gonna hit Download, and then I believe, yeah, so for quality control you're gonna want it in docx form. So it's that first one. So I'll show you again. File, Download, Microsoft Word. There you go. It's downloaded. So yeah, that's how you export a file. I'm pretty sure there might be other situations where we need PDF. So you can do that and then go to PDF document. But Microsoft Word, for quality control, you'll submit a Microsoft docx. Yeah, reach out to us for help. And await the guide, but also don't use formatting as an excuse not to write. So if you're like, oh, I don't know how to format this, I'm then not gonna write. No, just write, get it down, and then come to us with questions. The summer schedule, it's almost done. There will be for the month of July, there's weekly submit what you have, and during that time you can be like, hey, I'm unsure on how to format this section, can you help me? That way just it's less of a pain during the quality control period. So thank you, and yeah, thanks.